Welcome back to the Buck Junkie podcast. This episode of Buck Junkie is brought to you by Fireball, because we don't have any other sponsors right now. And if you ever get the coughs when you're at hunting camp, get you a bottle of Fireball. It'll straighten you out. You feel like you need some today, Mikey?
Yes, now.
You do. Yeah, you need one right now. I don't know what you got in that water cup over there, but maybe it needs to put some Fireball in something.
Need you a little cough syrup in here.
So, as always, I'm Malcolm Reed, your host here at Buck Junkie. I'm joined by my other co-host. I got Mr. Jamie Williams, Mr. Mark Williams, and Mr. Mikey Dyer. Fellas, how we doing today?
Doing good.
Well, we doing great.
It's ready for opening rifle season here in Mississippi this Saturday. It's going to be a fun time down at our hunting camp. Y'all are excited?
Yes, most definitely.
We're going to kick it off with a new tradition. We did this the end of last season. We were down there hunting and just hanging out. Had the old barbecue trailer down there, and we've been staying in it all hunting season.
That's another story there.
I stayed way too long.
Yeah, he stayed way too long. But that last Saturday of hunting season last year, we ended up going down to one of our favorite little local steakhouses in Condo Steakhouse, and I thought it was a good thing we start that as a tradition to go the Friday before opening weekend and go that last Saturday of the hunting season too. It's kind of a way for us to get pumped up, get some good stories going there over dinner. Something we all like to do is eat a good steak. And at the end of the season, we'll wrap it up and have a big time too. So we're all going to go, and I think it's going to be fun.
Como and Camo?
Camo and Como. That's it. We got a reservation, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's on our agenda Friday night. But Mikey, you came up with some good topics for this podcast today. We're going to talk, and this has got a lot to do with getting ready for hunting season. And I see a lot of good questions on here about your favorite kind of deer stand, or your favorite how to pick a stand location. How do you name stands? Just stuff that we all do and have fun with. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So, Mikey, you want to start us off and let's talk about some of these topics you come up with.
Yeah, so let's talk about what our favorite stand is. Make, model. What do you like hunting out of? Ladder stand, climber, Malcom. I know mine probably a ladder stand, just because I don't have to carry anything with me. I'm out in the open air, and it always is. It makes it simple. Once I've hung it, it's there. And it's not hard to move. But that's one of my favorite stands to hunt in, and it's always been. I've hunted out of everything, but that's always, if I got a choice stand, that's going to be my choice stand, is a ladder stand. It's sitting in it where I feel like sometimes in a box stand you feel like you're closed in. You can't see everything, and I like them, especially when it's raining. But on a regular basis, I really like getting in that ladder stand.
You doing a homemade ladder, or what kind?
Oh no, whatever's on sale.
A boat seat special.
Whatever you like. Are you a 2-man ladder or a 1-man ladder?
I got to do 2-man ladders, or have been for the past few years with wheel hunting with me, or Gage, or one of the other kids. But now I still like a 2-man ladder stand now, because I can stretch my feet out and go to sleep if I want to.
Do you know that ladder stand was one of the first ones that I ever hunted? I'm gravity challenged now. I done passed that weight limit for being up too high a long time ago. But I can remember that first ladder stand I hunted, and it was just back when you go, and we had those wood ones. It'd be just a wood platform
with the milk crate.
Nail up. Yeah, you'd have a old milk crate sitting up on it.
Man,
Your back went up against the tree. You went up the ladder, just old 2x4 rungs on it. You didn't know if it was going to break or not. And that was the first deer stand I ever hunted out of. We didn't have no fancy, box blinds or ground. There wasn't even pop-out ground blinds back then that I remember. It was just old ladder stands that had been there for I don't know how long either.
I remember hanging a stand with a buddy of mine. We were in a hunting club together, and he was going to make a 2-man homemade wood ladder stand. The platform
it wasn't a man on top of man, was it?
No. It was a 8-foot by 8-foot with a ladder on it.
And
by the time we got that thing stuck up in the air, I told him, I was like, never again. That's it, dude. We ain't.
I was building a tree house.
Yeah, he built a tree house on.
That's how my deer stand started, building tree houses. I grew up in a neighborhood, but we always had a big park, and there's some big oak trees in that park, and we'd go raid the construction bins on when they was building new houses in the neighborhood, and we get all the plywood, framing 2x4s they use for pouring concrete and stuff. That was what we used to build clubhouses, and we'd do that. We'd build us a ladder, and then we'd get up in the tree and use the branches of the tree and put some wood in it and stuff. And I was like, man, these are building deer stands before we ever hunted.
Jamie?
Yeah, I'd have to go with the climbing stand. I've always hunted climbing stands. Yep. That's probably my favorite way to go. Like kind of like Mikey said, you feel like you're more open, you can see better. I use a Summit climbing stand, and it's more sentimental than anything. My brother-in-law Thomas, he hurt his back. He gave it to me. Well, then like a year or two later, he got killed in a car wreck, and I just kind of that's my climbing stand.
Yeah,
I mean, that's I feel the best hunting I did.
Is that the one you started out with?
No, started out. Daddy had homemade ones where you like bear hugged a tree.
Not sketchy at all.
You didn't have one of them elbow climbers, did you? The hand climbers?
Yeah.
I never could do that. Was
if
you was over 200 pounds, you wasn't using one of them.
No go.
Yeah, that's a no go. I did have one of the Grand Old Mans.
Yep.
What it was. I bought it old Buck and Bass back in the day.
That was a good climber.
It was a good climber, and I could get up. If I got over 10 foot, I was scared. I mean, I was like, this ain't for me. I got rid of that thing quick.
I'm gonna fall right in suit. I mean, I enjoy hunting out of climbing stand. It's something about it, you know.
Well, that's what me and Mark, my dad. That's
all we hunted out of.
Hunting.
Really?
I mean, yeah, it was climbing.
You go
stand.
find a tree and climb it.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it was. I think my first one was Jamie's old one, and it was just a, like I say, angle iron, metal, homemade deal, made at Dover Elevator, most likely. But I mean, it was fun because you kind of have to play the hide and go seek. Then you know you got to find a good tree. You got to be able to climb it, and then. I don't know, you just feel more, I guess, like you say, you're out there, you see well, but it's like more in touch with outdoors, I guess. I don't know, it's different. But I ain't gonna lie, I done got spoiled.
Yeah,
man.
I done got old and the heater's nice.
I'm a box blind man or a ground blind. That's what I'm comfortable in. I like the ones that's got steps, you know, and I mean, the best ones I've probably ever hunted have been homemade ones. Like we got one we call Old South Trump, or Trump Tower started out, and that was a homemade one you built, Jamie. It's that joker's 8 foot by 4 foot.
Oh, 4 people.
The first one that I ever made that was super nice. We were hunting at my dad's place, and it was a piece of scaffolding, and we had put a piece of 4x8 stage decking on top of it, and built on top of that, and it had a nice bench seat in it, had a full man-sized door. Had full steps going up to it with the handrail. I mean, it's big man hunting, and I mean with those, you're just comfortable. So I like anything I'm comfortable in. Y'all are comfortable in those the Summit climbers and on your ladder stands, and to me that's what it goes down to. What's your favorite stand is one you're the most comfortable in. If you can stay up in it and sit in it longer, chances are you're probably gonna kill more deer. So
I will say though, Mikey had a good point. It's something about ladder stands. Like when I was a kid. We'd go put up ladder stands. It was like all of us, Mikey, Jamie, Thomas, all of us had a weekend. You were going to put ladder stands up. Everybody was there. We all went to deer camp. And then, of course, it was, you know, built out of 2x4s, and they were heavy. And I remember the one we built over on Highway 30. Daddy decided he wanted to put 2 boat seats on it. So I was at the front with my feet hanging off, and Daddy was sitting behind me on the boat seat. We both have swivel boat seats, you know. And then I got a little bit older, and I guess hunting ladder stands in, Daddy'd make sure I got in the stand. He'd see me he gave me one of his belts, and I'd put his belt around my waist and around the boat seat where I wouldn't fall out. And then he walked to his stand. I couldn't take the belt off till he got back, you know.
That was the first safety harness.
Yeah.
Just old leather belt.
Hey, I never fell out.
Well,
got some good naps.
So have y'all always used safety harnesses? Or when you're in a ladder stand, Mikey, you use safety harnesses? You know you should. I mean,
I know I should, and especially getting older, but yeah, I don't.
Which, we don't climb trees near. I mean, I'll probably climb one this weekend just because the weather's not going to be cold. That's another thing. Yeah. Man, if it's frigid outside, I'm finna get in that stand with that heater.
Yeah, it's spoiled.
Have my coffee with me. I'll be good to go.
So we started with these Sportsman's condos, and it's like a molded plastic stand. You can buy the little carpet insert for them. Put an office rolling chair in there. You don't have to put the windows down if you don't want to. Mm-mm. And the sun heats them up, but then you put one of those buddy heaters in there, it's like being in your living room.
Yeah.
And those things will flat spoil you.
Bang for the buck, that's a heck of a stand.
Yeah.
You know, they're not crazy expensive.
What do we get in them, Jamie? About $1,100-$1,200?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Then you got to buy your wood.
Yeah. But they already have the brackets on bottom for them ready
Slide
for
the
4x4s. You can put them on sleds if you want them lower to the ground, drag them wherever you want to, or you can put them on What do we put them on 8 foot 4x4s?
Yeah, you shied away from the 16.
12.
Yeah,
You won't let us do the
12 to
12.
16, you shied away from that.
Yeah, that's a little too high for me. Some of ours have the 2x4 kind of a ladder.
Yeah.
And some of them are,
You ain't gonna make it.
some of them we built steps up to.
I'll hunt in your stand this
You
weekend.
gotta
No
get
worries.
healed up.
Yeah.
We gotta get healed up before rifle season opens this weekend, Mike.
Like I'm gonna be staying at the camp cooking breakfast.
Yeah.
I don't know why you coughing. I don't want you coughing in my gravy.
The latest one I bought is the Dixie blind. They're made down in
Cadillac.
Pearl or Brandon, Mississippi, down there somewhere. It's
nice.
super nice. Yeah, it's a little more expensive than the Sportsman's condo.
What do you mean it's not? I mean,
By the
Well,
time
that-
you get through adding
yeah.
everything to the Sportsman's condo, it's probably about the
you
same.
don't
really.
you don't have a blind spot. That's one thing about them condos is you do have blind spots. You got to kind of peek around the windows, and
Yeah.
that's the only downfall to those. But no, that Dixie blind, man, it's
It's like a full fiberglass shell, though. It's like made out of, like, I guess, boat material or something.
It ain't quite on the redneck blinds yet, but it's
Yeah.
pretty close.
Yeah. Those are some good ones, too.
But it makes it easy hunting those box blinds with a kid too, though.
That's-
I mean, if
yeah,
they're
it
up there
really
playing
does.
on their phone or something like using a
Concealed.
ladder or something like that, even in a ground blind, you're concealed, but you're eye level with that deer.
Yeah.
You know, if you got kids, if you get up off the ground in some kind of a covered blind like a box blind, and that makes it
Well,
So,
that blind's there year round,
yeah.
so they're used to it. I mean, now granted, when that orange vest is shining in that window, they may be like, oh, it's that time again. But
got to hang you some more fabric up in there so
Yeah.
you kind of break it up.
I mean, it's
curtains.
like I say, it's there all year. Them deer done got comfortable to it. I mean, like the pond stand. That stand's been there for 4 years now.
Them deer
And-
don't even realize. They
No.
don't even know it.
They don't have I mean, they walk right up to the ladder.
So, what kind of stand have y'all killed the most deer out of? A ladder, a climber, box stand, or just a blind?
Climbing stand.
I've killed the most out of a climbing stand. I've killed the biggest out of a ladder.
Is it just because of hours on those type stands, you think?
Well, I think so the biggest thing for me is, all right, opening weekend, you got your ladder stand put up. Well, when you get down, I'm never going to walk straight out. I'm finna, hey, man, I want to go look a couple yards south or go look up here in this thicket. You find them little hidden spots, and the next morning, you throw your stand on your back and you go hunt that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty mobile with a climber. So, I mean, like Mark was saying, if you find a spot, you see the deer moving 50, 60 yards down the wood line from you, you can move
Go to
50,
him.
60, go down there, and it's over with, a ladder or something like that. It's a lot of
It's
trouble.
real easy to get in and out.
Yeah.
Well, that goes to our next thing. Like, what? So, after you got your blind or stand or whatever you want to put up, how do you get into where you're going to, what goes into the site selection for y'all of where you're going to put up your stand? For me, I got a couple things. One, I like to be either on or between a food source and a bedding area. That's the main thing. That's what I look for when I'm hunting. If we're going to hunt food plots and we're going to put a box blind on it, we're going to know where they're bedding and we're going to know where the deer are coming from. But wind also goes into it too. I like to have different stands for different wind sets. That way I'm not pigeonholed into hunting one specific area all the time. But that's the main things I look for.
Yeah, most of the time, if I'm gonna hang a stand, of course, you're gonna look for deer sign, trails, scrapes, rubs, different things like that. But I don't really focus so much on like the rubs and the scrapes. It just lets me know there's bucks in the area.
Yeah.
If we don't have cameras or something like that, like we do now. But in the past, before we, had the cameras, that's what I would look for. But I wouldn't set up on those things and hunt those things. I was like you said, I'll try to figure out where they're feeding at, where they're bedding at, and try to find some kind of either trail or some kind of a pinch point to catch them at if I could.
Like a staging area.
Yeah.
I mean, those places are hot.
And
I mean, that's where they're going.
Yeah, mainly in like more open hardwoods, acorn trees and stuff like that they'll meal on going to a major food source. And, of course, once you figure out what area is which way is your, predominant wind going to be blowing through your deer season. Mississippi is all over the place. I mean, it could be south or north or whatever. Yeah. So
that's why I like to have multiple choices if I'm hunting some kind of permanent stand. Like, we'll have a stand that's best for a south wind or anything out of the south, and we'll have our north facing ones.
The biggest thing on me, like if I'm going to an area I've never been to, like when we used to hunt a lot of government land, a lot of that places we wasn't down there but a couple weekends out of the year, so you wasn't as familiar with the area. I'm gonna get in a ditch, I'm gonna walk down that ditch, and I'm gonna find where they're crossing. Just because you're gonna see that more prominent crossing that ditch bank where they mire up in the mud and digging it out and everything like that, and then go from there. And I want some open hardwoods. I'm a hardwoods I love is something about in the morning time, open hardwoods, frost on the ground, and you're never bored because you're always going to either have elephant birds or squirrels to watch all day, one of the two.
Well, you can't beat those natural funnels. And that goes back to your ditches, your gullies, anything that's kind of putting them to a pinch point. And that's what I look at. If I'm most of the time I'm gonna be in a ground blind. If I'm in the woods like y'all talking about hunting pinch points in between food sources and bedding, I'm gonna find me 2 ridges. I'm gonna find me a ditch or something, or an old fence line, old row bed, something that most of the time these deer are gonna take the easiest path of least resistance a lot of times. So we've got it on our place now, and Mikey pointed this out to me. There's an old fence line in between, like where the pond stand is and no Trump stand. Yep. And those deer have been walking that old fence line for years. And that's where we find our rubs and we find scrape lines, but that's just a natural point that you can set up in there and catch them.
Yeah, I'm all about the hardwoods. That's what on my growing up we hunted hardwoods, and then in the past couple of years we hunted a lot of hardwoods, and hardwoods on the edge of cutover. That's what I like,
because they're bedding up in that cutover and they're feeding in them hardwood flats. What do you do? That's great for me for like early season, mid season hunting. But then when it gets to be late winter, I've always moved to the food source.
Yeah,
because they getting out of those hardwoods. There ain't nothing for them to eat. They done ate them. Yeah.
The place we've had for the past since 2000, I guess, it's all pretty much hardwoods with cutover. So there really wasn't a lot of like.
So they stayed in there year round.
Well, you had thickets they stayed in. I mean, usually late season, I want to go in the thicket. I want to get as close to that bedding area as I can because they ain't moving much. They're staying pretty close to home most days. And like Jamie was saying, I mean, there was no crop up there. They had one bean field, but it wasn't up time. Heck, it was done by bow season. Them deer were out of that field, Yeah.
And that's the advantage again. Goes back to climbing stand. I can go in. Wind don't affect me. I can move around the tree or move location pretty quick.
Oh. So when you're setting your climbing stand trees, do you already have those scouted, picked out, cleared lanes, and that way I'm going to hang on this tree here, or is it always different?
Initially, I'd say no, but like it's one particular tree in a place we hunt. We've, like I said, been there since 2000. Man, me and my dad's probably wore all the bark off that tree. We go back to pretty much the same tree.
So if there's a wind certain direction, I'm going to that. I'm going to the big tree or whatever.
I'm going to tell you this. That tree he's talking about, I didn't know exactly where it was at. And this had been years ago. And Jamie's like, go up here. I got cat eyes on the trees going in. I never paid a bit of attention to it. So the morning I get up there and I get to where I'm supposed to and I cut my flashlight on, cat eyes. It looked like an airport. I mean, it was cat eyes going this way, cat eyes going that way. And I was like, what the heck? Well, Jamie's like, well, I put them on every time I go in. I don't know what trail to take.
Yeah.
I went up there hunting one morning like that, and I put some on the tree and was going to go to my stand and turn the damn flashlight on, and hell, it looked like Christmas lights.
Everywhere.
I don't know where to go.
You'd be walking circles.
Jamie done been up in there. I ain't them cat eyes.
You knew which way they went.
Yeah, I had them going to different trees.
Yeah.
If we went one way, I'd come in this way. I knew.
That's a good way to confuse somebody there. Yeah, go up here to hunt my tree.
Stand there till daylight.
But I will say that place there was the easiest land I've ever been on to get lost. I can get around pretty good, and you can go up there, and I promise you, it's not but 110 acres, and you can get as turned around as you can be on a national forest. I mean, it's something weird about it. I have no idea what it is, but I've got lost up there before and spent some hours trying to figure out where the heck I was at.
When it's thick like that, you get turned around easy. I got turned around down hunting down there at Coldwater on the Coldwater side of Arca Butler, because I was going by the road. I knew I'd come in off the highway, and as long as I had the highway to my back, I was good. Well, I got in there, had shot at a deer, got to looking around. It was getting late, got lost, and I was like listening for the road. Well, that road sounds like it's coming from all directions. And I walked and I ended up like 2 bridges down, done crossed 2 creeks. I knew I was in the wrong spot, but I was looking for headlights, and I'd seen them, so I knew that was the road. And I beeline towards those lights. Man, I was 2 miles from where my truck was parked that day, which for a big guy, that's a long hoof.
You just wanting to get out.
I was just wanting to get out. Well, Waylon was with me on that one. We got in there, and the further we went, the deeper the water got. We done got off in some backwater, and it's like, man, we're going to get stuck down in here. If we don't get to them lights and get up.
He know you was lost.
Well, he was with me. I mean, we was hunting together. Yeah, we was hunting together. That was another one of my question you'd asked about favorite places or favorite stands to hunt or whatever. And this ain't a very. I done told most of the story, but it was just an old bucket in a tree and some old flooded river bottom, and it wasn't a stand or anything. I just took some limbs and kind of brushed it in. But I knew every year going back, I'd go in there and I'd find me an old bucket and I'd put it up against the same old bent over tree. And that was my blind. It was just a makeshift blind on government land. And it could be something simple as that.
So your favorite stand was a 5-gallon bucket?
Well, it wasn't
Lowe's.
my favorite. But it would just remind me.
Did you have a
of
hole
that.
cut in the lid of it though?
No, it was just a 5-gallon, no yellow bucket. I don't even know where it was from. All kinds of stuff floats up in the river bottom.
Oh, Central Hardware bucket.
Yeah, it probably was a Central Hardware bucket. As a matter of fact, I think it was because it had green writing on it. Wasn't that Central Hardware green and yellow?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough one there. I mean, I've had a lot of good memories of some of these stands. Most of them, like, I guess one of my first bucks with Daddy. That was one of them things. Like that stand there was up on the same place up there we had, about 140 acres, 120 acres, and it was an old. Heck, I don't know what that box stand was made out of. It was old scaffolding and who knows what, but been a bunch of deer killed out of it and a bunch of mornings spent there. But it's either that or the squirrel stand down in camp.
Yeah.
One you and Thomas put up behind the pig pen. That was always a good one. I've always enjoyed hunting that one.
My favorite's probably the barn at my dad's place.
That you almost burnt down.
Yeah, I didn't almost
Or
burn
Waylon
down.
almost burnt down.
Yeah, that was because I took Michael hunting there when he was barely old enough to walk down to it, and I got pictures of me with him sitting there bundled up in my coat. I could still put him inside my coat, and I was teaching him how to set and watch deer from an old barn, and it was just a hole cut in the wall in a barn with an office chair. But that's a good stand.
Probably my most memorable. So my granddad's sister had 350 acres down the road from us. That's where we grew up hunting. So my uncle come by the house one day and he's like, "You want to go hunting?" I was probably 11, 12. Like, man, no, I'm going to stay home, watch cartoons, need a snack. I'm not going hunting. Well, he goes and kills like a heck of a 10-point.
Yeah. And
that same pine tree he killed that deer out of, my cousin Jeremy killed a real good 8-point out of. I killed my first buck out of that same tree. So it was, we all, Dad, everybody pretty much hunted that same tree. And it was a lot of deer killed right there on that field.
What kind of stand was it?
Homemade climber stand.
It's a homemade climber.
That's the thing about them climbing stands. If you was in good enough shape to tote it in, you could climb with it,
Yeah.
It was 40 pounds on your back.
A steel.
Yeah.
What was the seat like? Just
It was like a foldable dove stool. Daddy made some brackets, and the dove stool folded down flat.
Down.
And then when you got up in the tree, you stood the dove stool up and you sat on it.
Yeah.
You was just sitting on a piece of plywood.
Yeah, plywood with a frame around it. Pretty much all it was.
It wasn't sketchy at all.
Hey, y'all still have one of those?
It's hung up out there at the shop.
Yeah, it's hung up in Dad's shop.
You had to bust it out and climb it.
Nope.
Nope.
No.
I'm not good enough shape no more.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Oh man, mine had to be. Well, it was. I guess it was down there on Grady Lee's. One of y'all went down there with me one time, down there in the Delta. From that stand, you could see 2 or 3 miles across that Delta. So you could watch cars go by all day long, but it was backed up to a big rice field and a cypress slough. So I could see deer for, almost over a mile. If you could have a good pair of binoculars, you could see them out there feeding around. So you've always seen a deer out there. But the most interesting stuff about that stand was it was down there in the Delta close to casinos. So I pulled up down there. There's been cars on fire on the way to it. Abandoned trucks and stuff. People that have stolen from the casinos and ditched them down there.
You find all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Never found a hooker down there.
I'm sure they wasn't far. You probably wasn't looking hard.
That ain't going to be the one I thought you'd pick. I figured you'd pick Daddy's stand behind the house. Mikey's the only person I know that can kill 5 does with a hammer gun muzzleloader in one evening.
No, come on now.
I got kicked off.
That'll get you banned from that was a house stand too?
Yeah, right. In my backyard, my house is right now, like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, about halfway between my house and Mark's.
I got to hear that. So how'd this go down? It was
All I know-
season?
Yeah, I guess
It
it
was
was.
muzzleloader seat. It wasn't 5.
It might have been 7.
4.
Might have been 7.
All I know is Thomas was in Jamie's stand behind the house. I didn't hunt that afternoon. Mikey was in the other. Thomas killed 2 that day.
They pretty much wiped the herd out.
They
one
put
afternoon.
the herd on.
Yeah.
Were y'all doe hunting?
Obviously.
They were
Yeah.
not hunting.
Well, me and Thomas worked at the same place. We were at the cabinet shop back in. So we come home from work and we didn't have nowhere to hunt. Only place we hunted was out there across from my mama's, and that's the only place that me and Thomas had to hunt. So Faith said, if y'all want to hunt behind the house, you go behind the house.
That was green
I
light.
was like, okay. He said, there's some does back there that need to be shot. So me and Thomas, we made eye contact like, all right, here we go then. So we went back there, and anyways, I heard Thomas shoot, and by the time he shot, here comes a big doe through the woods, and I shot and dirt rolled her. I look over, and I'm reloading my muzzle loader with those speed loaders, and I look up, and there's another doe standing in front of me. I was like, well, he said get him, so I'm getting him.
That's a twofer.
I popped that one. Well, that one run over there and kind of wiggled and wobbled a little bit and fell over in the woods over there. And anyways, reload my muzzleloader. Another one comes out. I was like, I ain't never killed 3 deer in one day.
That's TK Mike. It ain't loaded. Well, reload it.
I messed up and dropped a double load down in that muzzleloader. I bumped the speed loader, and I didn't think the powder was in it. So I threw it down and turned around and opened another one and bumped 2 loads of 180 grains of powder out of that.
You shoot 90-90, yeah.
180 grains of powder in that thing. So that next one, I pointed at that shoulder. That thing was looking at me, and I squeezed that trigger and hit that thing right between the eyes.
Shot a yard.
It shot so high.
Hit
It like to knock me out of the stand. There was so much smoke in the woods.
So you had 3 deer down. Thomas had a deer.
Yeah.
I remember.
What did fate say?
I got home from school and they'd already been down there hunting. And I walked in, you heard one of them shoot. And Dad's like, well, one of them must have got something, And he heard another one shoot. And he said, well, what's got 2? About the 5th more shot, Daddy's like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
He wasn't happy.
Y'all stacking them like cordwood.
He wasn't mad.
Did you hunt back down there? Did he let you hunt anymore? It's like,
He didn't let me
you're
go
off
again.
limits.
He might have let Thomas go. He didn't let me go no more.
Well, heck, Daddy's done that back there. He can't say a whole lot.
Sometimes you got to thin them does, man.
That's this weekend.
Yeah, we got a few
Game
more.
on.
We got a few more we got to kill. We had a quota, and none of us have started yet. The boys.
We're going to meet the quota this Saturday.
Yeah, we'll be
done deal.
We'll be buck hunting by Sunday morning, or at least by next week.
And so every stand we've talked about, they've all got a name.
Yeah,
To me, a stand's got to have a name.
So I thought about that, and what do y'all think? How do you come up with a name for a stand?
I got a prime example.
Is it just description to kind of tell? I mean, why do we name them? I don't even know where it comes from.
It's got to be something. Most stands, I think most people do it around, like a certain type of landscape or something like a pond stand. It's close to a pond.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But every now and then you get somebody that names one. It's got some kind
From
of
the
wild
hunter.
name.
Yeah.
So I'm
Like,
gonna tell
what
you,
call the one earlier, the squirrel stand?
squirrel stand is prime example. So we would build all the ladder stands at Jamie and Daddy's shop. When they done cabinets at the house, we'd get out there and build all of them. Well, apparently somebody mismeasured somewhere, and we didn't prefab this one at the house. We waited till we got to the woods, got it hung up, and usually your ladder comes up and then your platform.
Right.
Something was off enough on this one. The ladder went up, and the platform had like a 5 or 6 inch overhang, so you had to crawl up and back to get up on it. Well, you pretty much had to be a squirrel to get in it.
It was hard to get in.
You had your back legs.
Yes,
dangling.
you was pulling death gripping that last step, And our Uncle Jimmy come back. I think he was gonna hunt it opening morning or something.
But yeah, we'd seen this deer. I believe it was a spike, as a matter of fact. It had some old yellow, smoky tobacco horn looking deer.
Cow horn
And we done
spike.
told him, listen, this deer is a big deer. It's going to fool you, so don't shoot it. He's like, I'm hunting that stand.
Well, first he come back to camp. No, we was at home for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving.
He come, he said, y'all ain't lying. He said, that damn stand, a squirrel can't get in it. It's so hard to get in. And he said, you know that tobacco horn deer y'all was talking about? He said, y'all don't look for it no more.
He's dead.
He
He
done.
killed him.
But we had that one. It was
Crooked tree.
Crooked Tree. I never understood the pig pen. Why was the pig pen named pig pen?
Because I believe Parsons stacked up the log. It was old log landing, and it was just scrap pieces of logs left over. I believe it Parsons did it. He instead of blind, he just got the logs and stacked them up. We made fun of him. It looked like he was, had done built a pig pen up there, so he kind of got the name, I guess. But
That's like ours with Trump Tower. When Jamie built it, I come over to his house. He was building it at the cabinet shop. I was like, man, this thing's nice as Trump Tower.
so it kind of
So it kind of stuck with it. So we've always called. We didn't say that. We didn't know that place down there where he was going to build it. We just called it Trump. Now it just shortened it to Trump.
Yeah.
and it's got a pretty good food plot. And then my favorite stand that I hunt every time I go is South Trunk, just because it's south of Trunk. And so you come up with names, and it's really, I think it's descriptions, because we've got them. I mean, it could be named for somebody that killed a big deer there, like we got Waylon Stand. He killed a pretty good buck first year we had that land, and that's from that stand. And it just got named that.
They'd pretty much changed Pond Stand to Jamie Stand.
Yeah, that one's slash. It's like Pond Stand slash Jamie Stand. And then we got Hilltop. I mean, that name's, and we moved it, so now it's like Hilltop 2, but it's still Hilltop. So you've got, and that's usually how a lot of them get it. But it's pretty cool, though. I've always thought that would make like a good, like if you had a coffee table style book or something of all these old deer stands and names and what they meant and what was killed there. But it's a good way. Like if you got a camp or you got some guys and you want to record it, what happened at that stand. People get to know where it is.
I remember Daddy and them had some land leased at Laws Hill, and I was little then, and had a stand that was called the toilet stand. Well, that's what it was. They had, instead of a seat or bucket, they had a toilet. Somebody else had it there. They had a toilet seat that you sat on.
No.
That was the seat. Yep, that was the seat called the toilet stand.
Like, was it a full-blown toilet, like house toilet?
It was just a lid on it.
Just the lid. Yeah. I have seen them take porta-johns and then turn those into deer stands.
Windows in it.
Yeah,
that's tight quarters to be hunting.
It would be. I've seen it, though. You could buy used ones without the whole toilet thing in it. It's just a shell.
I just don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
You can straight pipe in there.
I tell you, put all the scent killer you want in that porta john, it's still gonna be smelling.
I don't think they were like repurposed ones. I don't think it's like that. I don't know, man. Whatever's in that magic
they don't
blue
build
bucket,
a porta john but for one reason.
Whatever's in that magic blue bucket they throw in there, it cleans it. Have you ever seen them do that?
Yeah, I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah. We go to at the contest we go to. We always used to rent a porta john. Those guys come in there about 2 or 3 a.m. Got this bucket of stuff. They just open the door and throw it. Suck everything out, throw that old stuff in there. About 20, it don't even take that long. 10, 15 minutes later,
it's like a new one.
It's like brand new. It's wet. It's like soaked from floor to ceiling, and then it just eats it all the way. I don't know how it does it.
That's
I need to ask Timmy Kelly that.
What is that?
What is that magic stuff y'all throw in there?
I always wonder. Like we had that place we hunted. Jamie was talking about up the road from the house, and when we discovered the open hardwoods across the ditch, there was an old wooden ladder stand in the woods. I mean, this stand looked like it'd been there 40 years. And, I just wonder, 40 years ago, somebody put that stand up, and, like, how many deer got killed out of the stand?
Oh,
how many memories are in that stand?
Man, there's a ton of them.
And it's just, to me, that's always neat to be walking through the woods. It might be government land. It might be some land you just acquired or whatever, and finding that old stand that's been, nobody's hunted out of it in decades.
They want to know the story of it.
What was that stand? Somebody put it there for a reason. But I do notice all them old stands, they ain't about 7 or 8 foot off the ground. There's nobody getting tall.
No, that was my height. That's how we used to do them. It was whatever you could take like a 8 foot 2x4, and that was the height of the stand.
They must not make 12 foots back then.
They must not have. That's what you could haul in your truck. They didn't have they had long wheelbase trucks, but I don't know.
I won't ever forget. This is off subject too, but it's a hunting story and it's funny. We was hunting down at Abbeville, and a buddy of mine, Billy Bob, he come down with us. He's a pretty good sized boy at the time. He had one of them big old mans. And he's never hunted down there. And I was like, well, I'll drop you off at a tree and I'll show you where to climb. And I'll go on down a couple more 100 yards and I'll climb down from you. He said, all right. So we get in there, it's pitch black dark. I stop him at the tree. He climbs up it and I go on my spot, and we're texting. I said, you seen anything? He said, no. He said, I didn't realize I done climbed this high. He said, man, I'm terrified. He's like, I done got way too high. And I said, all right, whatever, just if you want to climb down something, that's fine. Well, the tree I put him on was on the edge of a bluff, and it's probably, what's that bluff over there by the black stand? 150 foot?
Oh, it's going up there pretty good.
It's one of the biggest bluffs I've ever seen in North Mississippi. And, the tree was at the top of the bluff. Well, he climbed up on the shallow side, and he spun around and looked over the bottom. Well, when he spun around, he's over the bluff.
He's 300 foot.
And he looked down and he said, good Lord. Well, we got ready to leave. I come walking up to him, and I literally reached up and grabbed his foot. I said, just hand me your gun. He wasn't 5 foot off the ground. He was terrified, though. He's like, man, I don't even want to climb down. How do I do this? I said, you're not
turn around.
Turn around. You're 4 foot off the ground.
Billy Bob's not a good hunting partner.
Yeah.
I carried him up by the house hunting. Like I say, Mark's right. You can get lost up there on 140 acres pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I put him in the stand. We went in a different way, and it was, like I say, 30, 45 minutes before daylight. And I started walking. I knew I wasn't 100% sure on the direction I was going.
He was lost.
Almost. So I texted Billy Bob and said, hey, whistle so I know what direction you are for me, so I know where to go. Well, I sat there and listen. He never. So I finally called him. I was like, "Are you whistling?" He's like, I don't know how."
I don't know how to whistle.
He was going.
Yeah, I couldn't hear nothing.
He just
I was whistling hard as I could.
Yeah.
No, he's an entertaining guy to hunt with. That's for sure.
What's your next topic there, Mikey? I done got lost.
yeah.
Would have got off track a little bit.
Not really. I mean, the next
Not
question.
bad. Not bad.
No, we're switching directions now, because the next thing you got on here is, how do you decide which buck you're going to shoot? Because we're out there. We done got our stands fixed up. We in our stand. It's happening. Right. It's opening morning. I'm setting the mood for you.
What kind of deer do you want to shoot? How do you select your deer? So, as far as a buck goes. So, I guess
this is a double-sided question here.
It is. So, which we've got a management program going on your place. So,
Trying to.
We'll see how that goes after Saturday.
Yeah.
But if there were no restrictions or whatever, what kind of deer would just hit your nerve and you got to shoot it? You got to kill it.
One that's hard to pass up.
Yeah.
If it's got chocolate horns, I'm in love.
Really?
Yes.
Chocolate horn?
Chocolate horns.
You don't see that real often where we hunt, do you? I saw it up in Tennessee, my dad's place, man. Me and Waylon were up at my granny's land. She had 100 acres of hardwoods, and we were riding around. We've been hunting up there all morning, seen a doe. Ain't seen many deer. We got back in the truck and rode back around. Man, there was the prettiest, perfect, probably about a 135-inch 8-point was standing on this little bitty, plateau in between two sets on a ridge right there. And he had the chocolate horns. It looked like something you'd see in a magazine. I was like, oh, man, if I could just had that gun loaded, could step out, I'd have had to get him. But me, for mine, I like for it to be a deer bigger than what I've shot. I hadn't shot a whole lot of big deer, but I want it to be something that's a little bit bigger. Now, when I'll get to a point to where, I'm just going to hunt mature bucks, and that's about where I'm at. They need to be at least 4.5 years old is what I'm looking for. But that's hard to say. If I see an old 6-point that, he ain't but a main 6 and he looks good.
I pretty much know you're pull the trigger. You're number one. You finna pull the trigger. If it grunts, that deer better get up off that food plot. It's game over at that point.
The rut's all off, because when they get to chasing, and if you hadn't been around a bunch of deer hot on a doe and there's 2 or 3 bucks on them and they're male making noise and they're running and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, you can't say, I'm looking for that mature one, because more likely he's going to be the last one. You better be ready. If you ain't got a split second to make that decision, you just looking for mass and you looking for horns over his head.
So I think all that changes too. Like you talking, when I was younger, it was pretty much, if it had horns, it was
down.
It was a good deer to me.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I was a lot.
I think it all changes. Ideally, I've never killed a huge, heavy horn deer, but if I had to, that's my goal deer. One just be
one of the Midwest.
I will say this from hunting with Jamie. You're probably
the luckiest. Make him mad.
No, you're probably one of the luckiest people I know, because you get to see these. You always kill a good buck, and you always get to see them and get to. It's not like never a split second decision for you. It's like Jamie will call you and he's like, "I'm watching this buck. I think it's a good one. I done watched him." And he's like, when he shoots him, it's like, "Dang, that's a good buck."
He done that. I was at work. He called me and said, "I got one over here in this back ridge."
Yeah.
And we carried on a 10-minute conversation discussing whether or not he should shoot
buck, yeah.
And I'm like,
I've never known you to make a mistake, kill a little one, or
I did
whatever.
kind of screw up that one the year before last.
Yeah, they're always.
It wasn't, but it was 15 inches wide, but it wasn't the deer I thought it was.
Yeah. No, but when it comes to deer hunting, you're pretty lucky.
Jamie's the only person I know can go through the woods, like down at camp. We used to talk about this. Jamie, he'd get lost every time he left the camp. He'd wander around in the woods, climb a tree, and kill a damn deer that nobody'd ever seen. I mean, the government was a really good deer.
Yeah.
Jamie's killed one of the biggest deer at camp. You and Billy Moore's the only 2 people I know's killed deer that size in Apple.
Yeah.
I've really not. Honestly speaking, I've gone out and randomly climbed a tree that I've not scouted. I just walked in one direction. To me, it looked good, and climbed. I've killed more deer that way than I have sitting on a spot that I've watched.
I think it's his blood sugar. They smell him.
They come to him.
Yeah, he's in Little Debbie's. His blood sugar gets high.
It's got to be good over there.
Something.
Smell of vanilla in the air.
I've done that twice at that land by the house. One time, Mark left his climbing stand. Had no idea where it was at. He said, "Walk, go up the ditch. So such and such is a tree that we call the burnt tree. Lightning struck it years ago, I guess." And sure enough, walked up there, finna pick up a stand. I heard a buck grunting. I sat there and had 3 bucks come by, and I killed a pretty good 8 points.
Jamie's had people ride down the road and ride by that place, and be like, man, it's a pretty good one up there.
It did happen too.
He goes home, changes clothes, takes his time, gets ready, walks up there, steps out of the truck, walks in the wood, and kills a deer. This deer been sitting up there for an hour with this doe. What's the chance of that deer staying there?
Yeah, buddy, my Brad was going through out there, and he called and said, "Hey man, it's a pretty good buck chasing a doe." This is probably 9 or 10 o'clock. I go in there, finish up my work, get me a sandwich, get something to eat, and I don't have nothing to do. I'll just ride up there.
If I see that buck,
and I just rode up there, walked in the woods, and stood there by a tree for a little bit, and it didn't take long. Here he come back by.
Chasing that same hot day.
I have been pretty lucky.
No, he's been real lucky.
Real lucky. What do you look for, Mikey?
Man, it's hard for me to pass a big 6 point up.
Big 6?
A big
I like a
6.
big 6.
It's a big 6 down there.
I'm talking about
We
a
got a
big,
big 6. We got a big 6.
he's not that big.
He's
not
but
that
still, he's heavy hard.
I'm talking
Which
about a big
one?
one.
I'm talking about the one that's got the double forks.
I've seen.
He's
He's
been
like a 24-inch main beam 6.
I'm
like
talking about a big
6.
one.
Yeah.
I've seen
I know
a big
that
one.
deer. I saw him the first year we hunted in was it 17 or 18? Anyway, first year we hunted down there, I saw him, and I saw him again last year. So I know
Daddy's seen him last year.
he's got to be 4 to 5 years old.
Easy. Yeah.
See, there's one that was on a mud hole camera the other night that looks like a mule deer rack. It forks and it forks again. And
Yeah.
he's not but a 6. He don't have brow tines.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about forks on both sides, brow tines, a big 6.
That's what you just want.
Straight up 6. I seen
Big
one
6.
one time that it was a big one. I mean, it was really big, probably 18, 20 inch spread, and it had huge forks. I didn't get to shoot the deer, but ever since then, that's just one thing that if I see one that's anywhere close to that, that's gonna be that's my breaking point there. I'm gonna get it.
I like a big 6. I don't know what it is. I do.
I want to honestly say the one hanging up behind you is one I could actually kill.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of junk. I've said that too. If they got a junk rack,
Yeah.
if there's something on it that just makes it unique, yeah. Split brows. I mean, I ain't never killed a drop. Well, I got one at home that was it's got a drop. It ain't much of a drop, but it's a hook.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about it. Sure enough, a lot of junk on them. That's hard to pass them up too.
Mine is like I said, chocolate horn, dark horn. I don't know, something about them. They're unique. They look good, but I much rather have a tall rack than a wide rack.
You like a tall?
I like a tall
Halo
rack.
type rack.
Yes, I want it to look like a football field goal post out
Shoot
there.
straight up.
Yes. But to me, it's got to get you shook up too. You know, I mean, we've watched deer before, and like used to when I was a kid, like Jamie said. I mean, heck, if Spike walked out there and my knees were knocking. You know,
Yeah.
and it doesn't bother me as bad now. I mean, I still get worked up. Don't get me wrong, but you got to get that blood pumping. If you don't get your blood pumping, you don't need to shoot it.
Yeah, if your
That's
blood's
true.
pumping,
It's a lot
that's
harder
what you're
than
there for.
Them old does get my blood pumping.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
well, when you know you're finna shoot a doe.
Yeah,
If I know I'm not going to shoot a doe that morning, I can watch
Yeah.
does all morning. But if I know, all right, we're here to get like Saturday morning, a doe walk out, I'm gonna be shaking.
Oh yeah.
Game on.
Because it's doe. That's
It's doe day.
the way it is. That's what led to Camo the first time. We was doe hunting. We was on a mission. We was going to take them out. Last week of the year, we didn't see no does. It was all little bucks or bucks that had beat up. Like bucks, they were just coming to food plots. They were hungry. Rutted bent over. It's late January. Them does were nowhere to be found. They knew it was like green light.
I get too soft hearted on it.
Yeah.
Though.
Oh, man.
If a doe comes out with a yearling, I can't hardly shoot.
Oh no, that's the ones I want to kill.
I can't hardly.
Because I've always, and I don't know if this is true or not, I've been under the impression or told that if you kill a doe and they've got a year, I don't care if they got twins with them or whatever, they're old enough to survive, they don't have spots, they're eating grass, who's weaned them. If you kill that mama, those little ones will be their home range for the rest of their life. They don't know the instincts. Nobody's trained them. They're not taking them away.
They've never been on vacation.
Never been on vacation. They're going to be there, and so they're going to be breeding. And especially if you kill an old doe that's had some twins, and she's it's an older doe. I'm not talking about 2.5, 3-year-old doe. I'm talking about an older one of them old blowing does, the last one to come out in the field or whatever. Those are the ones you want to kill.
so that's one of our other questions: is how do you select your does?
I kill the old ones, man. Them old loud ones.
If it
Oh,
blows,
loud ones.
Yeah, I hate them. God, I hate them. That's the first ones to blow you out, have their whole head up. They're gonna be the last ones to come out
Stomping.
there. They're gonna let all the other does go to the field and eat, and they're gonna be looking around. And if you so much as if you so much as get your spit bottle up, they got you.
They're blowing at you.
Yeah, they're blowing at you. I hate those does.
I think that's everybody's criteria on the day.
Yeah. Pretty much.
All the blows,
Yeah,
you're done.
yeah.
No, too. I mean,
What about those solo doe? You take
a
her
solo doe's hard to judge.
It is.
They mess
'Cause
you
you don't
up
know how
quick.
big they are, and you face it might be an old spike too.
Yeah. I always try to look at their nose. You know, if they got those short nose, I want to look at long, skinny, just ugly, beat up nose.
I've killed a bunch of solo does, but I'd rather them be in a pack. I'd rather it be ages where you can tell that old gray, wide nose, big nose doe. That's is the grandma.
They're hard to judge. That's for sure. And especially now, because I mean, we're still pretty early in our season in Mississippi. So I mean, they're still a little
It ain't
little
hard
orange.
to judge where we was under the day.
It wasn't no judgment going on them does.
It was Mo. We had some big ones out there. Michael killed probably the biggest ones ever been killed down there last weekend.
Oh, we set them kids on kill. I know I did Will when he left. I was
yeah.
like, son,
Yeah,
first
whatever.
one comes out.
Get
so
her.
We got a quota to meet. I want it met pretty fast.
Today.
Well, so
He was
what's,
like,
your,
"Yes, sir."
what's y'all's thoughts on that? Now I know there's varying opinions, but should you kill your does early? Should you kill them late, or what's the perfect? What's your?
I want to
thoughts?
kill them before they get bred.
I say early because, like Mark said, you wait till late on the year. That prime buck you got on your place has got good genetics. He done bred her. Well, you done took that whole.
You done
breeding
killed two,
cycle
did
out.
you? Didn't mean to.
Well, they did. It don't matter how many it is. My thing is, I think if you kill them early, the bucks don't get as stressed out thinking they got to get them all bred. It's
That's
less
right.
stress on them bucks.
That
Too, and
was
they
kinda
got to
hard.
work a little bit.
Yeah.
You got to think
And
last
it's
year.
less. It's another mouth off the food plot or off a food source to let
Late
that
winter.
buck. Yeah, to let that buck survive that winter.
Well, he wasted his energy. If you shoot him late, she's bred. That buck wasted his
Yeah,
energy. He
that's
wasted
right.
all that food, everything that he eat, trying to keep himself up to do that. You just
I kind of want to
ruined
keep them on their feet too. I mean, right now that little 140 acres is about like Ole Miss. There's women everywhere.
Yeah,
It ain't they ain't got to look far.
You got to go. You ain't got to look. You ain't got to
Yeah.
seek.
I want to kind of give them like Mississippi State, where you got to work a little bit harder for. 'em.
Yeah,
Ain't as good a selection. Sorry, Shell.
Yeah.
they just got a little more area down
Yeah.
there. You want to see? You give them a reason not to move around.
Yeah, you want to keep them on their feet, get them working, and
If you got them all right there, he's got them harem. He's just
I mean, it's like
servicing
last
them.
year.
That's all he can do.
I was hunting mud hole, I think's what it was, and literally there was 15 does out there, and one buck had all 15 to himself.
Yeah.
And I mean he wasn't no big deer, but he was
He's
living
had-
good that day.
He's had honcho.
Yeah.
Ain't got to work too hard.
He was living right that day.
Yeah. I like it when you got a few doe out there, but there's one hot one, and then you got 3 or 4 bucks trying to get them, and that's when the bucks. That's the one time of year we've got. You get it starting about this weekend. We'll probably see them pushing them some around Thanksgiving. That's when it starts, and that's when you're gonna see them start chasing them singles out, and then
First
it'll be
week of
hot-
December,
it'll be hot
you
and
better be
heavy.
ready.
It'll be hot and heavy. You'll see them running them. And then it'll quieten down until right about Christmas and New Year's. That second phase will come in. The ones they didn't get that first time will come back, and then it's on.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be sick about the second week in December.
Yeah. No, we're all taking mobile hours. I've already, this time, the time is in.
Going back to the deer
We're
stand
not
subject,
working. We're not in office.
Yeah, we got Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we got Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi, everything we could do it. And I mean, that's why they ran rural fiber internet. I don't know if Trump was responsible for that or which politician did, but they ran it right to deer camp.
We got boosters.
We got boosters. It's good. Our out of office is going to be, we'll respond to you when we get down from the deer stand.
All right. So we're at the deer stand. We're working from the deer stand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got to have my laptop. What else we taking?
man, I got snacks. I'm not going.
Snacks.
Hungry. I'm not.
Oh,
I'm not going
I
hungry.
did write some notes on this. My first thing I'm taking.
TP.
Huh?
TP. Some
No,
toilet paper.
no.
Yeah.
Sharp and toilet paper. No.
Whatever, you take the whole bucket with you.
No, I had to
Yeah,
have
you carried
one.
you got the bucket.
Mine's gonna be a spit bottle. I ain't going to the stand without my gun, some snuff, and a spit bottle. Everything else is secondary.
Oh,
But I gotta have. I mean, I could spit on the ground, but I don't want to make no noise, so I got my spit bottle. But I gotta have I gotta have a gun. Gotta have bullets.
And I have seen a couple of y'all leave those before.
I believe
guns. Oh, that was
I borrowed a gun from somebody one time.
Yeah, you drove all the way from Hernando to San Antonio.
45 minutes, no gun. We pulled up down there and James was like, crap.
Yeah.
I said, what? He's
I've
like,
got to the stand without cartridges. Like put my clip was in the truck, shells was in the truck. I had the gun.
that's
Thought it
right.
was
That's when we
good.
was hunting out there on Font Road.
Yeah, I had to go back.
I seen Michael's little orange vest walk by the end of the field.
What
are you
happened?
doing?
Forgot what I was trying to be legal, don't load the gun in the truck.
No, I'm definitely hunting a box stand. It's cold. I'm gonna have some coffee. I know it might smell, but hey,
Coffee.
it smells good. I'm gonna have my coffee with me. And a
I've
couple
only
snacks.
had coffee in the stand hunt with you.
Yeah, and it was delicious, was it not?
It was awesome.
It snowed that day.
Yeah, that was the only day I've ever had coffee in the stand.
And toilet paper. Now if I'm
Toilet
hunting,
paper.
if I'm hunting evening, I'm gonna have me some veiny sausages. You gotta have your little mid-evening snack.
I've hunted a bunch of places, but something about your place, toilet paper's top priority.
Really?
I don't know what it does.
Toilet paper, man.
Yeah, I was
Is that
waiting on
yours
you.
too? Yours toilet paper too?
I ain't going nowhere without no damn toilet
But I got
paper. I'm
socks.
gonna
I got some drawers I can cut my way out of if I need
I
to.
made that mistake. No, you laugh about toilet paper.
T-shirt.
I was hunting Hilltop. First year it was open, or first year we had
Yeah.
it, the Hilltop. You was hunting South Trump. You dropped me off, and when I stepped out of the canyon, you said, hey, set that bucket out of that stand.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's in the bucket? Oh, just sit it out. Don't worry about it.
Now I ain't gonna lie. Before we had any kind of restroom or anything, I bought me one of those buckets. It's like a Lowe's bucket
Yeah,
with the toilet
bucket on it
seat.
goes.
Who leaves the poop bucket in the stand, though, and has your buddy sit it out?
I take. If you use it, you take it's got a bag and it's got the chemical stuff in it. The toilet paper's all in there. It ain't like
It's like the
fresh load in the bucket.
Yeah, like what you do for
It's
your
put-
dog, the
yeah,
little poop bag.
Yeah, you take that with
Big
you.
boy
It's got-
version.
It's got like 2 other refills in there, extra toilet paper, probably some gloves.
Did you not gag?
I take it outside if you come out there, if you ever caught me, it ain't in the stand. It's like I take it down the ladder, I go down and sit on the hilltop. I got my gun with me, and I'm sitting on the bucket and just drawers
Like
dropped
dove hunt.
right there on the
Dove hunt.
stool. Yeah, I didn't do it in the stand.
If you ever kill a deer on that damn bucket, that's gonna be a story to tell.
You don't think I ain't gonna take my gun with me when I'm down there doing it? But now I ain't got to. I got indoor plumbing. So
got indoor
if it
plumbing.
gets that bad, I'm going back to the house.
Well, for a big guy, you are pretty sneaky. That one day, I done had to get out of the stand.
This is funny.
I done got up the tree, had to do my business, and I was pulling my drawers up, and I turned around, and Malcom was like 10 yards behind
I had
me.
no idea he was
I
down
never
there.
heard him, seen him, or nothing.
I had no idea. I thought you were still in the stand. I was going to go get the ride.
You
I was
slipped
at
up
the
behind
ride.
Jamie, took a dump by his
He
stand,
was, yeah.
tainted his punt woods.
No, Jamie was dumping.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Jamie was dumping. Yeah. I'd come around back, then went around by the pond and come circle back where I knew the part that came in. And I was going to get it and go pick him up. It was probably 10:30. We'd been hunting all morning. And I was going to do him a favor. I didn't know he was out of the stand. The doors was all shut up. I thought the windows was down. I don't even know. Where are they? I don't even remember that. Yeah. But I know I come creeping up. He was in there. He said, hey. I was like, oh, what's going on here? He's like, man, you caught me.
He's a big sneaky guy.
I was creeping along. I was trying to be quiet. I didn't want him to shoot me for one. I mean, I had my orange on and everything, but I was trying to be quiet.
It was stealthy.
I embarrassed you. I just told you, hey, dude, can I have your T-shirt or something? I ain't got no paper. No,
I usually keep some backup. Don't get caught without it,
No, you do not.
But one
Every
thing-
tractor you got has got toilet paper.
Yeah.
on
No,
it
it
down.
don't. Jamie's did that one day because I had to go retrieve it.
No, that was embarrassing. It's got it on it now.
So I don't know if you remember this. We was planting the dove field or bush hogging it. Me and my wife Emily got on the razor. We said, we're gonna go for a ride. We rode up on Mikey. All you see is a head on the other side of the fender of the tractor, and he was like, "Oh, stop right there!
I'm flagging him.
Don't come no further." And I said, "What are you doing? Don't worry about it." Emily's like, "What is he doing?" I said, "I think he's pooping." She said, "Oh my God, he's pooping outside."
It's nature. It's nature.
Man, I got hung up down on the back side of that dove field bouncing on that tractor. I had to get down. Something done broke
He grabbed
loose.
gear on John Deere, boy.
He was running
snatching
for the,
them.
Yeah, I was running for the tree line. I got the tractor hemmed up between the tree line and the field where nobody could see. And I was like, man, I ain't got no paper.
Yeah.
I got Crocs on. I ain't got no daggone socks.
Oh, he had a
Well, what am I
t-shirt.
going to do?
He'd come back just with your
I
shorts
heard
on.
Mark coming, so I peeked my head up over the edge of the tractor. I was
was
waving at him
Like
like,
old
"Come
kindergarten
here,
guy
come
had his
here."
hand
Did you
up.
have something with you? Did you have to go back?
No, I
and
went
get
back to the house and got it.
I had to hoover till he got back.
it? Bad feeling. Hey,
It is a bad feeling. My forehead goes sweating. You got to get somewhere.
You got to get some.
Something got
I
to
know the
give.
tractor didn't have that gear to get back.
No,
did
it didn't. I thought I was going to have to get off of it and just leave it rolling.
Let it bush out that pass, catch it when it comes back.
Mark, get
Oh,
the tractor.
drop
It's
and go.
way down there, still going.
Oh, drop and go.
It's tough business there.
Don't ever go to the stand without your toilet paper.
That's right. That's why that was the first sponsor we had on.
Hey,
Buck
dude,
Well,
watch.
you do what? Yeah.
I wonder if we got a pine
Junkies.
scent.
Was.
We don't need the mint. We need a honeydew or honeysuckle
Something.
or persimmon.
Persimmon scented.
Persimmon scent. There you go, dude. Wipe.
That's a good one. That's a Glade air freshener if I ever heard of one. Persimmon. Well, Mikey, that's got all of our topics covered today, man. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? You got to pick them all today.
No, that pretty much covered everything.
We are ready for opening rifle season, and hopefully we have some more stories to share.
We're gonna have
with
some
y'all.
good ones come next week.
Things going on, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Jamie, you got anything you want to
No,
lead
I'm
out
good.
with?
I'm good. I'm ready.
Man, good luck to all the hunters out there.
That's
it's
right.
coming up.
Good luck to everybody. Y'all take a
Be
kid
safe.
hunting. Be safe. Thank the good Lord for having us this beautiful place that we can hunt on, and we'll see y'all next time. We gone.
See you.